Welcome to 4 Cities and 421 Flies, brought to you by thepricegenie.com.
Welcome back to 4 Cities. It's 421, flies San Francisco to Lake Tahoe. Pretty nice day up there today. We're going to be flying a route that has proven to be impossible by for so many decades. So we do have our expectations in the right place. And we're just kind of doing a little quick pre-flight here. And we're going to get underway. We've got our flight plan plugged in. I think we're basically ready to go. Doing a whole lot better with the A320s. Figured out how to actually navigate. All the storm practice has been very helpful. Flying in storms. This is fun.
Indica 421, contact Oakland Center on 119.475. Good day.
Going to 119.475, Indica 421. Oakland Center, Indica 421 is at 1,400 feet, climbing 6,000 feet.
Indica 421, Oakland Center, altimeter 29.999, radar contact. Continue to track. Indica 421, climb and maintain 8,300 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots.
Climb and maintain 8,300 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Indica 421.
A little cloudy this afternoon over the San Francisco area. Many other flyers, as you can see, out in the sim. So this particular flight used to happen every weekend, maybe more often. It would just kind of depend. And the way it worked out is every Friday, because gambling was not legal at the time in California, and so every Friday there would be a flight from the San Francisco Bay Area up to Lake Tahoe. They have an airport there. It's not the biggest or most modern. I'm not even sure if they've ever landed an A320. 737? Yep, 727. Yep, all of those planes made it no problem, so we should be okay.
Indica 421, climb and maintain 13,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Indica 421.
And so the idea was that you would hop in. Oh, there's a great shot right there of Oakland and the Berkeley area, and then back that way at San Francisco. It's about 10 million people in the Bay Area. 10 million. California itself has 50 million people. So the idea was you would throw everybody on an airplane, fly them up to Lake Tahoe for the weekend, and fly them back. Now, the casinos in South Lake Tahoe at the time did a little subsidy on that. Okay, all kinds of specials with the airlines to get people up to Lake Tahoe every weekend. It never lasted. It just never worked for any particular length of time. Airlines like Western Airlines and United Airlines, and then there was a series of charters that tried to make it work. It just never lasted. Now, even today, you will get some charter flights into South Lake Tahoe and lots of private planes into South Lake Tahoe. But to my knowledge, there's no major airline that has a flight up there. Which is why we're going to do it today. because I've been getting so good on the ILS landings. Lots of practice. I think I got it down. Basically, when it comes to the A320, get it in the air, then take your hands off. Stop touching the airplane, and it'll be fine. Down below, you can see the Oakland Coliseum sort of to your bottom left of your screen. That is a place where so many concerts, Grateful Dead, Rush, The Police, so many concerts went through there. Even to this day, I believe they still have concerts at the Oakland Coliseum. There's so many more venues down in the Bay Area, but that was the original for the big mega shows. A321 flies San Francisco to South Lake Tahoe. Brought to you by thepricegenie.com. Serving up Pete's Coffee. You can get a cup in the back, or you can get a wonderful organic coffee super pack. Free delivery. Pete's Coffee. Find it at thepricegenie.com. It's included with your ticket, today's flight. Just ahead of us to the right, take a look. It's a place called Funny Farm. I have to come back for that. I don't see anything funny about it. But it's an airport called the Funny Farm. Probably can't handle a A320. The canal to the left that flows into the bay actually goes all the way up to Sacramento. Sacramento, which is in the heart of the California Valley. It's between San Francisco and Reno.
Oakland Center on 127.45. Good day.
127.45, Indica 421. Goodbye. Oakland Center, Indica 421, 13,000 feet.
Indica 421 Oakland Center, altimeter 29.9 for radar contact. Continue.
So the city of Sacramento, where I spent a lot of time during the summers as a kid, because that's where my grandma lived. Yeah, my grandmother had this great house in Sacramento, so we'd go there all the time and go to San Francisco.
Traffic alert. 7 o'clock.
We'd also
1 mile, 11,500 feet, Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight.
So we'd go to the Nut Tree.
Oakland Center on 126.85. Good day.
126.85, Indica 421. Goodbye. Oakland Center, Indica 421, 13,000 feet.
Indica 421 Oakland, center altimeter 29.9 tree radar contact. Continue.
There's this really great place, or used to be, it's kind of a shopping center now, called the Nut Tree between Sacramento and San Francisco. We used to go there. They have an airport. It's a small one for private planes. People used to fly in just to grab lunch at this great place known as the Nut Tree. I'm not sure if the airport is still working. I believe it is, but everything else has been changed to an outlet mall. But I've got the pictures of the great days when there was a train and a Pied Piper and a jungle gym you could climb on. Great stores, 3 or 4 great restaurants. The train was the best. I'll show you the pictures. But yes, Sacramento, which is in the middle of California, is actually a port. You can take a ship from the Pacific Ocean, not a big one,
Oakland Center, Airbus
but
November 9er, 69er, Yankee 10,000 feet. Airbus November 9er, 69er, Yankee Oakland Center altimeter, 29er, 2 radar contact. Continue to Sierra Alpha Charlie.
so good times in California. Despite all its problems, it's still got a few places. Which is why so many people live there. They just need to fix it a little. Not sure how well you can see back there. There is a ton of virtual air traffic, like a swarm, out there this afternoon. And a lot of people flying this weekend. Even John Wayne out there. Lots of Xbox flyers and PC.
421 climb and maintain 15,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 15,000 feet, Indica 421.
There's a reason we have to get up to 15,000 feet, because the mountains we're about to get into are 12, 13,000 feet. So to get up to Lake Tahoe, we're going to have to do some climbing. Here we go.
Airbus 9er, Yankee contact Oakland Center on 1 tree, 2.2. Good day. One tree, 2.2 Airbus 9er, Yankee. Goodbye.
So this is the other end of the Sierra Nevada mountains. If you look down that way, way down there is where we're currently flying our bush trip through the Yosemite Mountains in Nevada as part of a challenge to get your achievements. So this is kind of the northern end of the Sierra Nevadas. It goes all the way through Washington. But the crown jewel is Lake Tahoe. We'll be flying into South Lake Tahoe. It's really big. So there's a north, there's a south, there's a west side. The east side, however, is mostly forest. There's a couple communities, but generally speaking, the east side is all state park or national forest.
You are 70 miles southeast.
Not the easiest airport to land in. It's in the mountains. It's by a lake. There's a ski resort to the left. So it is a star airport, however. So we're hoping to pick up that achievement if we can just get the plane on the ground. It's 421 flies, San Francisco to Lake Tahoe. This used to happen every weekend. They still do charter flights up there, and lots of private aircraft up and down there. That's where most of the action is at Lake Tahoe, as far as like casinos. There's a couple clubs. They've built a few venues there for concerts. I want to say 20, 25,000 is the capacity up there. Don't hold me to that. They've got a mountain coaster, supposedly, at Heavenly Valley, which is the big ski resort there. But in the Lake Tahoe area, there's actually 23, there's over 20 ski resorts in the Lake Tahoe area. Some of them have combined into one company, but It's 2 different tickets. And I believe some of the resorts are still open today. They won't close down till middle of May. There's enough snow up there this year. Off to the right, you'll see that big lake actually sitting on top of that mountain. And throughout this area of the Sierra Nevadas, you're going to find lakes all over, streams, big rivers, campground after campground after campground after hiking trail after hiking trail. The Pacific Crest Trail, which goes from Mexico all the way to Canada through these mountains. This is kind of the middle spot for that, so you get a lot of hikers through here. It's definitely a treasure out in the western United States.
10,000 feet, generic tree, 1 Zulu.
Welcome back to The Price Genie at thepricegenie.com. This is the face of AI design. Artificial intelligence is going to be everywhere, so why not put it on your shirt? The robots are coming. This is the face of AI. Seriously, this is what AI really looks like. It looks great on aprons, coffee mugs, and coasters for a gift. Shirts, skirts, dresses, hoodies, sweatshirts, baseball caps, dad hats, and bucket hats. They all have the face of AI. We've even got tote bags, duffel bags, blankets, pillows, duvet covers, and shower curtains. Yes, even acrylic block art for your office, all with the face of AI. New items magically appearing every day. Subscribe to the Magic Lamp. It's all at The Price Genie at thepricegenie.com. Quality at great prices.
Well, a beautiful day up here at Lake Tahoe, as always. 300 days of sunshine in this place.
Welcome back to 4 Cities and 421 Flies.
So if you look behind you, so you can see the runway. It's not a straight shot. Like you can't just fly across it. You've got to come across the lake and then kind of get in the slot. So it'll be interesting to see how we pull this off. Looks like we are picking up an ILS signal. That's good. Because I don't think that's Reno.
Generic tree, 1 Zulu, descend and maintain 8,300 feet. Descend and maintain 8,300 feet, generic tree, 1 Zulu. Generic 01 Tango contact Oakland Center on 119.75. Good day. Generic tree 1 Zulu descend and maintain 9,000 feet. Going to 119.75 generic 01 Tango. Descend and maintain 9,000 feet generic tree 1 Zulu. Generic tree 1 Zulu descend and maintain 8,300 feet. Descend and maintain 8,300 feet, generic tree 1 Zulu. Generic tree 1 Zulu Airport is at your 10 o'clock 12 miles. Descend and maintain 7,900 feet, report runway in sight. Descend and maintain 7,900 feet, generic tree 1 Zulu. Generic Generic tree 1 Zulu, I have the runway in sight. Generic tree 1 Zulu, you are 10 miles southeast of Kilo Tango Romeo Kilo. Maintain present heading and altitude. Contact tower on 120.575. Maintain present heading and altitude. Tower on 120.575 generic tree 1 Zulu. Generic 05 Alpha climb and maintain 14,000 feet. Climb and maintain 14,000 feet, generic 05 Alpha.
So we're at the north end of Lake Tahoe. That's Carnation Bay, Tahoe City. So we pass Sunnyside, Truckee, California out there. And then Incline, one of the wealthiest. Like, that's a community of 20, 30, $50 million homes.
9,300 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, generic 75 Yankee.
421 flies.
421, you are 12 miles north of Tahoe. Contact tower on 118 decimal tree when inbound on the approach.
421
Yankee descend and maintain 9,400 feet.
421 flies San Francisco to Lake Tahoe.
421. Tower
If you look
Indica
way
410
out there.
miles north inbound, RNAV runway 18 approach.
Indica
Way out there.
421 tower. Altimeter tree 0.017
right.
at 10. Cleared RNAV runway 18 approach.
Cleared
Let's see if
RNAV
we can get this thing in
runway 18
approach
Indica
mode.
421.
Here we go. Oh, got the ILS on. Okay. Although I think it's an RNAV. They don't have ILS. Full flaps. Here we go.
Wind 017 at 10. Cleared to land runway 18.
Cleared to land runway 18 Indica 421.
Now, even when we get on the ground, it's going to be difficult. Look at the water. Okay, off to the left, the landing guides are throwing a shadow on Lake Tahoe. All right, let's take this opportunity for a quick plug. Coming up Monday, 421. At 421 Bordeaux time, we take the big flight to get the frequent flyer miles achievement, flying Bordeaux, France, over the North Pole, literally, well, virtually, into Seattle as we recreate the Asobo team migration to the Microsoft Empire headquarters. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've come a long way in a week when it comes to flying these A320s, and so that's why we're recreating this historic flight. San Francisco to Lake Tahoe. People used to do it all the time. Now, gotta have a charter. And it is true about the A320. Like, just keep your hands off the airplane. It'll do its thing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to South Lake Tahoe as 421 flies.
421 exit runway when able.
4 cities.
421 contact ground on 118 decimal tree.
And here's the airport, as you can see.
118 decimal tree, Indica 421. Goodbye.
This is also why they don't really service, major airlines. They just have a staircase that they wheel up. They don't have, like, a gangway.
We sure hope you've enjoyed your flight. See you next time. 421 flies at 4 cities.
Yep. Huge, right? The international South Lake Tahoe Airport right here. Look at that. Now, just for kicks, just for fun, let me look up here and see what they got for ground services. Takeoff, automated weather, no thanks. Let's see for ground services. Request a pushback. Yeah, get the hell out of here, buddy. That's what we got for you. Thanks for coming to South Lake Tahoe. All right. Thanks for flying. It's all been brought to you by thepricegenie.com. 421 flies. San Francisco to South Lake Tahoe. Of 4 cities.
You know what blows my mind? A recent study found that 68% of relationship-ending conflicts start with seemingly trivial disagreements, like how to make the perfect cup of coffee.
That's such a fascinating statistic. What made you bring that up?
At the Price Genie, we keep an eye on research. Well, I just came across this story that perfectly illustrates this. A young couple whose relationship is potentially unraveling over their morning coffee routine. He's 24, she's 23, and they've been living together for 6 months when things started getting intense.
Intense over coffee. That seems a bit extreme.
So here's what happened. This guy had this sweet morning ritual of making coffee for his girlfriend. But she started demanding this incredibly precise method, measuring grounds to the exact gram, pre-warming mugs for exactly 30 seconds, specific milk temperatures.
Oh wow, that's getting into professional barista territory. How did he handle all these new requirements?
At first, he tried to accommodate everything because, in his words, if she loves coffee that much, I want to make it nice for her. But it turned into this daily interrogation about every single detail of the process.
You know, this reminds me of research showing how criticism in relationships typically follows gender-specific patterns. What happened next?
Well, things reached a breaking point when she actually took his carefully made coffee, dumped it down the sink, and started making it herself while lecturing him about doing it wrong. Relationship experts call these kinds of moments sentinel events, seemingly minor incidents that reveal major underlying issues.
That's such a powerful example of how these small conflicts can escalate. How did people online respond to this?
The response was fascinating. One comment got over 19,000 reactions saying, "If I ask my boyfriend to do something for me, I accept that it is a favor, and I can't be picky." But what's really interesting is how this reflects broader patterns in relationship dynamics.
Tell me more about those patterns, especially the gender differences you mentioned earlier.
So research shows that men typically respond to criticism by withdrawing, which is exactly what this guy did by saying, "Make your own coffee." Women, on the other hand, often try to regain control through increased specificity, like these detailed coffee instructions.
That's really interesting how these gender-typical responses can actually make conflicts worse instead of better.
Exactly. And what's particularly fascinating is that studies show these daily interactions are actually better predictors of relationship success than how couples handle major conflicts. It's these small moments that either build or erode trust over time.
So what do relationship experts suggest for handling these kinds of situations?
Well, the key is recognizing when something is actually about the surface issue, in this case, coffee, and when it's about deeper patterns. Research indicates that couples who can identify these underlying issues are 67% more likely to resolve conflicts successfully.
That makes so much sense. How can couples start recognizing these patterns?
One effective approach is what therapists call the pause and reflect method. Before reacting, ask yourself, is this really about coffee, or is it about feeling respected and appreciated? Studies show this simple pause can reduce relationship conflicts by up to 30%.
These statistics really put things in perspective. What's your take on the future of this coffee-conflicted couple?
Well, relationship experts suggest that couples who can turn these conflict points into opportunities for growth have a much better chance of long-term success. But here's the kicker. Research shows that 85% of relationship issues are actually unsolvable. It's not about fixing everything. It's about managing these differences effectively.
That's quite a sobering statistic. What's the key takeaway for couples facing similar situations?
The most crucial thing is understanding that these small daily interactions, whether it's making coffee, doing dishes, or folding laundry, are really opportunities for showing love and respect. When we get too caught up in perfection, we lose sight of the connection these rituals are meant to build.
That really brings everything full circle, from coffee to connection.
And perhaps that's the real lesson here. Sometimes a cup of coffee isn't just a cup of coffee. It's a daily opportunity to choose between perfection and connection, between criticism and appreciation. The question is, which one are we brewing in our own relationships? Check out some of our favorite coffees at thepricegenie.com. They feature some very tasty organic blends we know you'll love.
Sharing a good cup of coffee can really do wonders for your relationships.
Visit www.thepricegenie.com to live and love better and learn more.